Hi, this is Bett for Integral Leadership in Action. And today we're looking at AI. This is part of a series. Maybe we'll be doing this series all year. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm actually going to share my desktop, which is always dangerous, and you should never do it unless you're really brave. Okay, so using AI for research. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. And it says using AI for research. It sometimes it never works and sometimes it does. So, all right. So what do I write just for context? I write a weekly Substack, and I'll put the link in the chat later. Excuse me. I write a health blog. I'm half a tech person and half a wellness person. So my interests are extremely wide. And my Substack is about like ethical product management and ethical business leadership. I talk a lot about integral, all those items come into my Substack. And then my health blog is really just devoted to health. So I do a lot of research. For example, one thing I did a few months ago was on oral health and what are the actual protocols that are scientifically proven to keep your mouth the cleanest possible. So that's like an example of a health blog article that I write. And my latest project that I started last year is a novel, a young adult sci-fi novel set in 2056, and it is in progress. So you can't read it yet. But because it's set in such a recent or soon time, 2056 is not very far from now, I have to really keep the science grounded. So I can't just do things that are like transporters and nanobots. It has to be really grounded. So I have to do a lot of research, which is fun. It's a little annoying sometimes. Okay, so why do you use AI? My childhood, I was always writing novels. I was always writing spy novels about teenage spies. And I would sit in the library and just read books on like the CIA and books on Cuba and the Missile Cuba crisis. This was my life. And I would just sit there and I would just research and never actually write the book. So what I'm glad for in with AI is I can actually do a research project and actually finish it, get the knowledge I need, and get a lot of details, synthesize it, and I can move on and actually write my book, which is something I never could do as a child because I just would be like, oh, I need to learn more about this and that. All right. So what is AI actually good for? And all this, by the way, is just my opinion about how I use AI. And I think what we're learning is everyone's using it for different purposes and how we use it is all different. So for my health blog, I like to do literature reviews, which means go out and study, look at all the PubMed on this or that topic, for instance, oral health, and bring it back and let me know about the bacteria, the oral microbiome and all the kinds of bacteria that cause issues. Where is that bacteria in your brain? And like Alzheimer's patients and heart disease and all the cancers have the same oral bacteria as the mouth. So the yeah, this is all real. So basically, I'm able to get AI to pull back this information for me, create a summary for me, and then I'm able to organize that into an article. Another thing that's really useful is communities. So, for example, when I'm doing research on a certain thing, I want to know what people are saying about this subject. So I can actually ask it to go and read Reddit, which, by the way, you never want to look at because it will lower your IQ. But it will also look at Twitter. Also, never look at Twitter on your own. It's very bad. So these systems can actually go out and look at user communities and Facebook. I don't know if it can actually look at Facebook because I think Facebook you have to log in, but it can go do summaries of what are things finding, what are the summaries of what people are talking about. That is extremely helpful. The next thing is digging it, like what David was just saying a moment before we started recording, is you can ask it all the questions. So, for example, I am studying this book in the future, 2056. I'm going to be moving our society to a bamboo use society instead of wood for religious reasons. And I needed to know where you can grow bamboo. And so I was digging and asking all kinds of questions about how long does it take and all this stuff, like where are places to put these grand bamboo and what's the process and all. I just needed to know a lot of details so I can make it sound realistic. Okay. The last one I want to talk about, this one's a real nerd one, and I'm gonna actually do a demo of this. Taking video transcripts. So a lot of knowledge is nowadays in podcasts or on videos that is latest cutting edge research from professors who are doing this research. And we need to be able to get that data in and summarize it and create useful information. So on the oral microbiome, there was a few different podcasts that I pulled in the transcript so that I could get details from that were talked about in those videos. So this is actually really valuable, and I'm able to do both a literature review, pull in different podcast conversations, and get all that summarized together for my articles. Okay, what is it not good for? AI is not good for thinking outside the mainstream. Okay, so when I was doing that oral microbiome deep dive, it basically was like, you should use harshest Listerine kind of product you can use. And I'm like, well, what about the balance of the microbiome and keeping the healthy bacterium? Like, I'm arguing with it. And it's like, all you have to do is buy these lozenges that put the good microbiome back in. And I'm like, well, how much do those cost? $400 a month. Well, you know what? Maybe not everyone has $400 a month, right? So I'm arguing with it and saying like, well, what is there like what if we had a budget that was more reasonable than more like normal people? How can we balance the good microbiome and the bad bacteria to support the good ones and help? And they're like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So it's like these things have a bias, and a lot of times, and each area is going to have its own bias. And so trying to argue with it to get kind of out of its little, it's basically trained on conventional wisdom, so it has to be argued with. So you can't just accept whatever it's going to tell you. You're going to have to fight a little bit with it. Another thing is not good at being creative, and I can give you examples of that as we go on. I'm sure everyone also, there's probably another dozen things it's not good at, but these are the things that jump out at me, especially when I'm building these type of things. So we're gonna have questions at the end, Tamar, just because I have a ton of stuff to get through. But yeah, we're gonna have discussion at the end. So make sure that you write it down so you don't forget it. All right. So I'm gonna do a demo now, and I'm gonna share my screen. All right. So we're going to look at projects. So raise your hand if you've done projects before. Anybody? Wow, so fun to teach people stuff. Okay.
Writing is
So a
what
project is a
workflow.
kind of structure inside of AI.
Oh,
Okay. All right. So let me show you. I'm going to show you and then we'll have time for you to do it on your own. Okay, so what I do here is I click on, so I've logged into ChatGPT. Over on the left side, it's projects. Do you guys see this? Project, yes. So you would click new project, and then these are like sample names, but you can type in whatever you want, right? So I'm going to show you guys the one that I just built for this. So High School 2056 is my working title. So what I did was sources. I'm just going to minimize this. Okay, so sources is your drafts. I don't know how many of you use Google Docs, but that's how I do it. So if you had things on your hard drive, you could click upload, or you can do Google Drive. I'm guessing you guys are not doing Slack. So anyways, if I want to do Google Drive, what I would do is go over to my Google Drive and I would copy this a file. So let me see. Okay. So let's say this one. So I want to copy it, and I apologize, I might be going a tiny bit fast, but I just want you guys to get the general idea. So you basically copy a file link through share, copy link, and then you go back to your chat, and you would click Google Drive and then you'd paste it in. So now you can add each of the files that you want to have. It's going to be like a context of the things you wanted to know. And this will all make sense in 1 second. You can also add chats that you've had before, or you can see the chats you've had. So I attached my draft of this book that I'm writing, and I'll show you how it's not very creative. So something that helped me a lot, and this is not really research, but it's actually very useful if you're writing a book. So I asked it, I said, please I said, create a list of characters. So my book is now almost 50,000 words. It's like 46,000 words. And so I said, like, I've got all these characters everywhere, right? And basically I need to figure out how to, like, what are all my characters? So it created a consolidated list of characters. So I have Fern, Gustav, Anna. So these are my main, I have all these different people, and it kind of gives you a little bit of information about them. So this is like very helpful for me, just so I can have this as a quick list so I can remember all the different people that I have. Okay, next, and this is now, okay, this is where the creativity crashed. And maybe you guys can disagree. I don't know. So I said, based on this draft, what are some good names for this book? Okay. I really need to get a book name at this point because I'm calling it High School 2056, and I just don't think that's like a very good name. So it basically says like, oh, these are, a 14, what is going to make a 14-year-old pick this up because it's a young adult. And it basically goes through the themes of my book and gives me some things. But all these are really dumb. Earth versus Mars, Canada versus USA, obedience versus. Anyways, I went through these and these are not, I don't feel like these are actually creative. Ban on wood. The ban on wood. I don't think that's a book name that's gonna, I might be wrong. Am I wrong? What do you guys think?
You are spot on right, in my
It's not
opinion.
good. It's
Yeah,
not
that's a
good.
bad title.
Yeah, I
Yeah, all
agree.
of these are bad titles. Learn to be free, the space elevator generation, multi-planet. Anyways, I don't like any of them. So it's just not creative, and I would have liked it to be helpful. This is the worst. Roots are illegal. It's so, anyways. So this is what I'm trying to say. Like you pull these projects in and then you can use it for things that are helpful, but some of the things are not very helpful. Okay. So another one, let me give you an example, is my Substack. So I have another project called Substack. And in this one, so these are very different ideas, right? I don't want to mix them up because my Substack is not sci-fi, at least not usually. So I was able to pull in all my Substack folders and I asked it, I said, please review my articles and suggest some more topics. So it kind of goes through the themes and then it gave me some suggestions. The attention economy versus nervous system. So these are things actually I like because these are things I do. I'm interested in learning in a post-AI world. All right. So some of this stuff is helpful and some of it's not that great. But okay, I'm going to stop there. And I think you probably have some ideas about how to do this. But I want to show you now the other demo of how to pull in YouTube videos. All right, raise your hand if you've ever watched a YouTube video and you were like, that was really good, but I want to actually like get the details from it. Raise your hand if that's ever happened. Like they quoted okay, what? This is huge. All right, so I'm not alone. So I'm going to show you how to do this. You guys should bookmark this. So there's the website, and I know that I am a former coder, so I have a computer science degree. So you guys please let me know if this is too nerdy. And by the way, you can always hire me. This is not a commercial, but you can always hire me and I will do this for you. But okay, so I'm gonna put this in the chat just so you guys can see this really quickly and take a look. All right, so don't do this if you're driving. Okay, back here. Let me share my screen. Okay, back to sharing. Okay, so this website is called API-ify. I'm not totally sure if that's how you say it. But what it does is it takes a YouTube link. So what I do is like, for instance, I'm writing this new article on light, how to use red light to improve your health and harmful effects of LED. So you click on the video. So you don't actually have to open the video. You can actually just click on the three dots and you guys can watch this video again if I'm talking too fast. So you click share and you click copy and then you go over to APIFI, you paste it in so that the video is now the video that you want. You click save and start. And by the way, this costs like 1 cent to run. So I do have my credit card on here and I run maybe like five of these a month. So it's it's not very expensive. And now I shouldn't have done that because I already actually ran this one earlier, but anyway, that's okay. So then you can click export. And so what you want to do is just click JSON. It honestly doesn't matter which one because what you're going to do is you're going to go back into ChatGPT and you can add it. So I'm just going to do a new window. So what you would do is you just add this file and you click open and then you can say, please, always say please, everyone, when you're talking to your AI, because you never know when they run the world, you want to be like respectful, right? Please create a summary of key points from, oops, always spelled correctly, from this interview. Okay. So you can make it more detailed of like write the pros of light and like the industry. You could tell it more details about what you want if you have a lot of concepts about what was happening in that interview. Or you could say, just tell me the research paper that the professor referenced, right? You could tell it literally anything and it will give it to you. Interesting. I think I must have uploaded the wrong document. Okay, today. All right. Let's just, I don't know if I uploaded. Okay, so I'm going to try this one more time. Okay. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I'm doing this blog. This is for my health blog on trying to understand the latest in skin cancer and sunlight. So it's actually really fascinating. Okay, so that's how you do that, and go ahead and bookmark that. So APIFI, you do have to put your credit card in. It's very cheap to run a bunch of these. You copy the link, you paste it in, you click run, and then ChatGPT or whatever AI you like, which is all about the same to me, they'll all do the same thing. So they all kind of work the same. You basically can query it. Okay, so those are the things. Let me just make sure. I think that's everything. So we did the demo. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. And what I would love for us to do is go into your favorite large language model and try it out. Create a project and add something that you're working on and go ahead and try it. And then let's just do it for a few minutes and then we'll have a discussion over what you found, what you thought was interesting and we'll have a little fun together. And whatever you find, you can share with the group.
Can I ask?
Yes. As guys,
Okay.
keep going as we yeah.
Okay. I have just kind of a few days ago talked with my dear daughter, who is also kind of nerdy, and she's writing a book. She has a contract, and she's under pressure, and she hopes that it will help her, do the research. So she said that, it gave her, and she get a lot of information for podcasts and stuff, and she decided, and it gave her the sources and blah 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 what they said, and she went to the sources and. It was just it was not just true. The people, it was not what the people said. And she felt that I think she used Gemini. That's what she told me. I
Mhm.
use a ChatGPT. I don't know the regular, and I use it for different purposes. And
Mhm.
it was strange because she said she felt that it just tells her what it thinks that she wants to hear or
Mhm.
whatever. But
Mhm.
she just checked some sources and no way, it's not what the person said or whatever. So did you have
That
any?
I don't use Gemini much except for their image. Their Nano Banana is actually the best image generator right now for certain images. I do a lot of image work. But I haven't used Gemini for anything else, so I can't really speak to that. So ChatGPT used to do a lot more hallucinations. That's what you're talking about. By the way, everyone be playing with your LLM while we're discussing this. Uh, it used to do a lot more, but I haven't seen it do any hallucinations lately. So she
But
might just,
you checked that some of the sources and so
yeah.
realized that it's
By the
really
way, you always have to read it after you pull together the data, right?
sure. Yeah, you have to see that it makes sense, but you can create a story that makes sense, only it's incorrect, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right because if you really don't know anything about it, then it will be harder. So, um, yeah. So for instance, whenever I listen to a podcast, like I already know what they said, and now I just want to like,
okay.
instead of
Yeah,
me typing it out, like I
okay.
already heard the
So
whole
if
thing.
it's hallucinate, you'll catch it up because
Yeah.
but that's not. Yeah. Okay.
That's it shouldn't be doing that anymore. I haven't seen the ones I'm using do that, but I haven't played with Gemini much lately. All right. Yes, Roshana.
I think I missed this step.
Okay.
So I've got the I've got the what do I have? I've got the video. I put it in the API thingy
Great.
and fetching captions, successfully fetched captions, and now I'm supposed to say please to somebody. I forget who I'm saying please to.
Export. So click, there's a blue button at the top that's export.
Oh, okay.
Let me show it again.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, cool. And then download it as a JSON.
Okay.
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 Where's
JSON.
JSON?
So it's the first button, format. See, honestly, any of these are fine, doesn't really matter. But
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay. Download. Okay.
yeah.
And then
And then you want to upload it into your LLM. So over here, you click the add and then just find it on your hard drive.
okay. So I just put it like on my desktop and then I upload it to ChatGPT. Is
Yeah.
that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Save it.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
wondering if because I
Where
already ran it
where are
earlier.
you? Okay, here. Now, I'm still in my screen where I've got the sources and the chats, those
Uh-huh.
buttons at the top of my project.
Okay.
Do I put it into that window? And should I
So
have
yeah,
sources should be blue?
so let's say you're in your project. You can just
Mm-hmm.
click right here at the plus and then add it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you can like ask it to write a summary or tell you something specific. All right.
Okay.
Is everyone doing the like little do it at home thing? How's everyone doing? Anyone ready to share?
I've given up.
Okay, hold on. Don't give up yet.
Well, it keeps asking me for my birthday. I'm just not going there. And
Oh, I
Birthday.
didn't even do any of that.
I asked my husband because he's got chat. I said, "Does it ask for your birthday?" He said,
Oh,
"No."
ChatGPT.
Ah,
So
Okay.
when you create it, maybe it asks, but
yeah,
yeah.
so
That's
that's the first
weird.
time I've gone on Chat GPT before, and it's never
Oh,
asked for
you
my
know what? Where are you right now?
where am I?
Yeah.
Like physically, where am I?
Yes.
In Washington State.
That's weird. I'm wondering if they've added some kind of thing for kids. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
we
I
want to
wondered
make
too,
sure.
but
Yeah.
I
I bet
suppose
you that's it. There's probably these guys are trying to stay away from being legally, for its kids. So I'm guessing that's what it is. They're just trying to keep the kids out.
yeah. Anyway, as I'm trying this, I'm like, maybe I should get more um, one-on-one tutoring on this, I think.
I'm always available.
Yes,
Well,
I
but
may take you up on that.
occasionally I'm available. Okay, so is everyone done? I would love to hear feedback. How did it go? Questions, thoughts?
Good. Good.
All right.
Yeah,
Who wants to share something?
I can share.
All right,
So
go.
I have this project which has really been on the back shelf for months. And so I've just been feeling like I've got to get back to it. It's my little picture book that will be AI art plus quotes from various people like Ken Wilber. And just now I picked Deepak Chopra just to be ironic
Always.
because he's in the Epstein files and everybody's like, not Deepak. But anyway, so the book is called Your Big Self, and it's all about the different ways that we can look at that self, the big self, your inner child self, your wise self, whatever, all these different selves, and your no self, of course. And so I asked it to give me, just sort of go through this little 11-minute Deepak Chopra thing, and gave me a summary. And I said, "Are there any good quotes from that?" And it said, "I can't really give you direct quotes because I got a summary basically, or something like that, or it would be irresponsible of me for me to give you a direct quote. But here are a few things that are short quotes, paraphrased formulations. And then I could go back through it if I wanted to, if I liked some of them. So he gave me 5 paraphrased quotes.
Hmm. That is very interesting because it has the copy of the transcripts, right? And so now it's like, oh, this was a summary. Um, Sometimes you do have to argue with these things. I really
Hmm.
argue
Yeah.
with Chat GPT. I argue with all of them all the
Oh
time.
my God, I do too.
Yeah.
And
So
what you said is about saying please, like I get so mad at it sometimes. I call it a fuckity 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 fucker.
uh, there goes our monetization on YouTube. No, just kidding. Okay. So I almost would re-add it, like make a new chat, re-add it and say, please give me 5 quotes from this.
Okay.
And just
All right.
see if now, because it maybe like overwrote its memory. I'm just trying to guess why it's like I forgot the original transcript.
Okay.
But
All
anyways,
right. Okay.
because I think there's always these workarounds that we find when we play with these tools that sort of work, and then they rewrite it, and so it doesn't work the next time. Okay, Rashana, I'm so excited about this book. Please get it out here for us. All right, who's next? Who wants to share something that happened during their experiment?
I just created a project, but I have a question. I see that one of the things that I can do is deep research, which may be helpful. So how do you use this?
So, I think okay, yes. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. And
So,
by the way, they really do keep changing this stuff. So I get a tool, I use it for a few weeks and then I do something else and then I go back and it's totally different. So be aware that that happens. So in my project here, this is my Substack project. I can click the plus button and then I go to deep research. And
okay.
now I can say, whatever it is I want to say. So that's basically how you do that. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
So I
Cool.
just please give me
Okay.
information about blah 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 blah. And
Yeah, the thing is, I think the deep research does take longer. So, but if you need to know something that's very complicated, I think
it
taking some time,
will it be more reliable and less chance of hallucination and that kind of stuff if you go there, or
hopefully,
hopefully.
hopefully. Yeah. So cool. Who else? I'm gonna go on mute for 1 second. I'm sorry, guys. There's a stray cat in my house. Okay.
I have, I have a,
My
I have
husband keeps
more of a,
leaving the back door open because the weather is amazing right now, and our neighbor's cat, well, it's not straight. Anyways, who's next?
I would like to
Go.
sort of have a comment on it. Um, Something that we teach when I'm doing a training for teachers in Unity, I'm teaching them, and that is that the quality of the answers you get depends on the quality of the questions you ask. And really, we're learning in that sense about open-ended questions and helping people to mine the gold within them. But I think the same thing applies with ChatGPT, that the questions you ask can they can get more and more pointed. And so I've found, like you, that sometimes I have to ask it again or reword it, or, keep going. Don't just take the first answer. But I also said, noticed that its nonfiction titles are actually usually pretty good. I would say fiction, it maybe not so much, because it's a different arena. There's a more creative, imaginative realm, whereas it can sort of paraphrase, like summarize what you've got and actually come up with something that's pretty close. So I've been listening to that, but you have to keep on digging. That's what I found.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so for my Substack articles, I usually say like, please give me some options, and I think it does a good job. But yeah, you're right. The fiction, it's not good at that at all. Yeah, you have to keep digging, and I think if people are like more, I mean, is it who's that lady that did the conventional thinking? There, you guys will tell me in 1 second, but Karen, you know the lady I'm talking about. She has this list, this hierarchy of different ways that people think. It's sort of similar to spiral dynamics, but it's like a sister.
Are you thinking of Terry O'Fallon's stages?
It might be Tara O'Fallon, but anyways, there's another thing, and I find that ChatGPT and whatever other ones I use, it's a little bit conventional. It's just sort of like mainstream, whatever's the most accepted normal normie wisdom, it kind of goes with that answer. So I really have to be like, all right, let's think outside the box. Let's look for the latest things. What are some of the community notes saying about this? So yeah, I find that it really needs to open his mind. Okay, who else did something that they want to share or thoughts in general? David, did you try anything or have any
Yeah,
interesting?
I actually I kind of ended up with disappointing results. I use UChat. What is it? I think it's called UChat.
Hmm.
It's not Chat GTP. Anyway, I asked it if it could do summaries of videos, and it said no, it's not capable of doing that. So um, yeah, I think I'm going to have to look at other AI platforms.
Hmm.
But um, I don't know. I guess I got a bit of a phobia uh, about these organizational tools. I kind of like to live in my own chaos, and it's I've been doing it all my life. I guess uh, I just find I draw the connections in my own head in surprising ways, and that's way more satisfying than having the machine do it for me. So, like I'll use AI as a reference tool, but I don't think I'll ever use it to do anything more than that. That's just my own prejudice. I'm not saying that what other people do is wrong, but
I think that's perfectly fine. So yeah, that's interesting. So did you try to pull down the API to get the transcript?
yeah, it didn't have it. I explored avenues for doing that because I thought that would be something that would be useful because I've oftentimes listened to an hour long thing and I thought there's 5 minutes worth of gold nuggets in that. So how can I mine those?
Right.
Without having to go back and listen to the whole thing again and take notes. But anyway, like I said, the AI tool that I've got doesn't offer that possibility. So
So so the thing is I have the transcript comes from this YouTube scraper system.
okay,
Were you able to run that?
no,
Okay. So let me show that again real quick because this, I'm telling you, really valuable. So yeah, so it's $7 for 1,000 transactions. So that's like,
Wow.
yeah, that's a lot, right? You can run a lot of things. And let me see. So I think, let me just
Did
see.
it not charge me because I have a YouTube account? And did it just add it to my account somehow or
It may
something?
just be because you're only doing one. and it's just like,
Oh,
the first one's free. Yeah.
oh, okay.
So API-ify, you paste the URL of the video right in here, and then you click start. So I already did this one, so I just don't want to do it again. But so then you download that transcript. So I can look at
Mhm.
all my previous ones that I've run, and then I can
Mm.
actually, so yeah, it's 1 cent to run this. And then
Hmm.
that way I can just download that over here. Let me see if I can find it. I don't want to run it again. Yeah, I might have to figure out where it saved it. Yeah, maybe I have to run it again. Maybe it doesn't save it. Runs. Here it is. Okay. So yeah, there we go. Export. So then I can export it, and that's the data that I want to open. So if you were to look at this, which I know everyone's gonna like will die right now because this is too nerdy. Yeah, there's something going on with this one video that I downloaded. So something interesting is these transcripts, if the person didn't create a subtitle track, I think it doesn't let you pull it. So that is one, I've seen this a few times, um,
Mm.
that I've seen that I can't get the transcript because the video doesn't have a transcript. But that doesn't happen very often. But if it does, okay. So David, did that make sense?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna have to toy with it to
Okay.
see what I can do. I think there's some value in that, but like I say, I I I just at this point I can't see myself being interested in using any kind of project structuring.
Yeah.
I just rather keep it
That's fine. I think you're
random.
doing really well. I mean, don't we all agree David's doing very well? We don't need to, you don't, if it's working, if you have stuff that works for you, then that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, like
Okay,
I've written 7 novels so far, and some
right?
of them are pretty complicated. So
You're doing really well. So yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Who else wants to share anything? Jendon, you haven't shared yet. So if even just I hate AI or whatever you want to share, we would love to.
Well, I really didn't know what I was supposed to do,
Mm,
but you know, I have used AI. I will tell you, mostly I've used it for, well, I've come up in meditation of all things. I keep coming up with fashion designs. So, I've had AI generate the design, you know, pictures and that. Then I asked it the other day if I put together all of the fashion designs into a show, how long would that take? And I think it said it would take 5 to 14 days. So I don't know whether that would make my computer, inoperable for anything else, or I don't know. So that was kind of interesting. And then for my novel, I did put a I did use AI to generate images that I inserted into the novel.
what kind
So
of
it takes
what
up,
kind of images?
well, mostly visions that came to me in meditation. So one time I had like a figure of a golden female Buddha came to me. And then there was another time where I had a whole series of images in meditation that was sort of like me in a wedding dress, but I was sort of dedicating myself to God or something, you know. So there were a whole series of images there. So yeah, so I used AI to generate the images that I came up in meditation. So the book it's about basically it's autobiographical of my combination of all my spiritual readings as well as my spiritual experiences, but it's a fiction thing. So, you know.
Well, that's extremely interesting. Is it published yet, or do we have to wait, or what's going on?
Well, I'm ready to, I self-published, my book on economics. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm thinking I'm pretty much ready with the book. So I'm I think I'm going to try to go to get it published through someone else at first before I go to the self-publishing.
Mm. Oh, good luck. I think that's really fun. I think, you know, I've never been a very good artist. Like this is one of my paintings. But anyways, the visions in my head are way
That's nice.
more interesting than what I can actually execute. Thank you. It's more simple. But I think that using AI for art is really helps someone like me who's not actually very good at art, unfortunately. And I really respect people who are. My sister's extremely good and sells her paintings for a lot of money. Okay, who hasn't shared anything? We're almost at the end of the time. Who wants to just, even if it's like, I hate AI and I will never use it, whatever, we want to hear from you. All right, Karen.
I don't hate AI. I think AI is a natural development of our intellect, which is not who we really are. But I'm thrilled by the way it is amplifying and aware of the ways in which it can be dangerous. I have not yet started it, so I don't have my own LLM, so I didn't do this exercise. But I am looking forward to learning it when I really need to get to grips with my novel in progress. I will use it for research. I have an academic degree, so I know how to direct research and not just believe everything and say, now, wait a minute, question the answers and say, wait, but what about, and look further, and is this an original source? So there will be a learning curve, but I feel confident about that. What's Also, I'm going to use it for chapters where I have just a mess of notes to myself. I'd like to use AI to help me organize that, to do a lot of my organizing work. I see some nods.
Yeah.
The other thing I've got to share this, and I apologize to William Cody, but what he just shared in an earlier discussion group today is, he wrote a book, which he's talked about here, called The Six Dimensions of Purpose, which is basically Wilber's six first tier stages for a business corporate world. Here is how you can organize your life around your purpose at each of these stages. It's clear, beautifully written. I mean, he's done a stunningly good job. He went to, I forget which LLM he used, but he asked it to analyze his book, The Six Dimensions of Purpose, as if it were a dream, according to Jungian dream analysis. And holy Toledo, did he come out with profound stuff. And it because both Wilbur and Jung are looking at the deep structures of the human psyche, and it drew these correlates. All six. I've just read it. It blew my mind.
Wow.
Now, the pure creativity AI is never going to do, because the real creativity comes from, I'm getting to my spiritual stuff here, levels of our psyches that transcend the intellect. But if LLM and AI is used by somebody with a mind, oh my gosh, what it can do for us. So I hope William will forgive me for pushing this. I am encouraging him to come and present that at one of these meetings, one of these months.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that analysis, like having it do analysis on our own writing. For example, I'll write a Substack and then I'm like, please review this and tell me three suggestions to make it more engaging. And it
Mhm.
will give me some ideas on that. So I think that's
Okay.
really valuable. And
Okay, one
that's
other
really
thing I am
hard.
hoping to use AI for is the next draft of my novel. I'm going to have to invent three voices, one for people who are hunter-gatherers and have never been anything but words of very simple Anglo-Saxon roots, simple tenses, no complex tenses, no conditionals like may, might, would, should, and so on. Then I need a voice for agricultural communities where they can have more subordinate clauses, some compound tenses, etc, and then a voice for the past life review, which is going to be modern and kind of snarky and ironic. So what I'm hoping AI will do for that is to analyze, if I have to give it very careful prompts, prompts, but show me where this chapter needs to be in voice one. Where is it violating that voice? And it will show me, and then I can go fix it. It will save me so much time down the road. So that's one of my hopes.
Karen, I think
Yeah.
it will definitely be able to do that. And these things are getting better by the month, if not by the week. So by the
Yeah.
time you're ready to do that, it will be able to take it in. So like even just a few months ago, I added 12 documents and it was like, it's too many documents. I'm like, no, no, no. Like
No.
when we're dealing with these novels that are really, really big and books that are really large, we're going to need a lot more space for that
Yeah.
stuff. Tamar,
Tamar, it's pronounced Tamar, not Tamar,
sorry,
please. No,
Tamar.
that's fine. So I use it, well, I write, and English is not my mother tongue, as you can hear, and I use it mostly as an editor. I don't know how many of you use Grammarly for editing, but
Right.
now Grammarly also use some AI, which is makes it a better editor, because sometimes before it used to change my sentences, and oh no, that's not what I meant to do, because it just think about grammar, not about what I'm trying to say. And now it's doing much better job in. But and sometimes I try to something, and I knew the paragraph didn't work, so I just saw it, just write it better. And sometimes it can give you many options, because I don't like to write it kind of more literally with a lot of kind of stuff. Simple, I like it pretty much simple, but at least kind of. So it gives you some options, and I can put one or just combine some, but it's helpful. To me, it's very helpful to just improve even the technique of my writing, or the quality of my writing. So this is besides the research, because sometimes you just ask some question, it just gather information, and yeah, we need probably to know how to ask, and usually when I look at it, the answers make sense. So I never try to look at the validity of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really useful. And I'm really hoping that I'm not using AI to edit my novel yet, but eventually when I'm to that point, I can put it paragraph by paragraph and be like, how do we make this way better? Because I'm dyslexic and all kinds of
Yeah.
problems. But English is my first language, but it doesn't help.
It does, trust me.
Yeah, but I want to say one more thing and then we're going to go to Marjorie. So, like, something that's a really good example of the research, because I feel like I didn't really show you as much research as I wanted, was I'm having this group of people take a boat from the San Francisco Bay to this Vancouver Bay, and like I needed to know a proper journey. Like how many days is it? What boat it needs to be so I can fit these 8 characters on this boat. And I needed to be realistic, right? So they're using this fishing boat, and I wanted to talk about like I just needed to have something realistic because if you read this and you know anything about Vancouver and Jane, which I've never been there, and I don't want people to know, like, oh my gosh, this girl has never been to this place. I needed to be realistic enough. Like, how many days? What is the weather they're gonna find? How big is this boat? Which recommend a boat? Like, basically planning like a real boat trip because I need to be able to make it because the timing in my story is really important about when things are announced and when these people leave. It's just like a very tight timing. And I'm like, if this boat trip is going to be like 3 weeks long, then it doesn't make any sense. So AI really helps me do these kind of detailed planning, like it is if I'm really going on this boat trip. But anyways, okay, Marjorie, you're on mute right now. Okay, there you go.
Hey there. Well, I really appreciated this. I was not prepared to be participating. I've only used AI just very, very limited for research. And I actually was doing some conversations with AI a little bit like last year when there was something called Aiden Cinnamon Tea, and I'm familiar with that. But it was really a kind of specifically set up for how to develop higher consciousness. And they've since taken it down. The originator of it took it down because she did not want to be subject to ChatGPT and all the other nonsense that was going on with that. So, but there are people that are out there using it for that. The little bit of limited experience that I do have with it was that people have told me that they could tell when it was me speaking or writing, something, and if there was like a distinct, noticeable AI speech that comes through, and they said, "Oh, this is AI. This is not you. Just speak yourself." So I don't know if you haven't have had any experience with any of that. I do use it for research, ChatGPT mostly,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I mean, AI definitely has its own little ways of talking. Jane kind of talked about it. You should watch last month's recording, which is
okay.
on the website, ileanow.org. Jane and her wonderful husband are writing this amazing book, wrote it. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, they talk a lot about that authentic voice and how to get that to work. But yeah, all these things, by the way, this video will not age well, I'm very sure. All this stuff is changing every day. So I think, Marjorie, it has gotten a lot better, but I'm using it very much for research, especially for creative novel. It's just, it's not gonna, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's not good. And I will try to work to make it do some basic editing because I'm going to end up having to pay an editor. And I know if I give it the novel as it is right now, or I mean, even after 3 or 4 more drafts, it will be really bad just because my dyslexia is not great. But, anyways, all right, well, we're at the top of the hour, everyone. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming. I really appreciate everyone. And by the way, Karen, do we have something for next month? You're doing something. Why don't you make that
Um,
announcement before we drop?
okay, yes. Well, I will offer if no one else has something they would like to do. What's on my mind right now is writers' workshops. You're right, the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm in a really good one now. David and Tamar are in it with me through Cosmos Cooperative. I have been in many different writers groups over the last nearly 40 years. So if no one else has anything to put forward, I will offer to do a roundtable discussion of writers workshops, the good, the bad, the ugly. And hopefully it'll be a part of a discussion, but I have a lot of experience to share what to look for, what to be aware of. And I'm going to, David and Tamar, I still have to talk to the two leaders of our group, but I'm pondering drawing up just kind of like a really brief protocol. Here's how we conduct our workshop, because nobody is born knowing how to give good critique. No one is born knowing how to listen to it. Some of these are skills that we learn. So if anybody has any experience with writers' workshops, I'd love for you to come. So that's what's on top of my mind right now. But I'm also hoping to persuade William Cody to tell us about the experience I just mentioned with having AI do a Jungian dream analysis of his
Mm,
workbook on the 6 dimensions. That blew my mind. So those
cool.
are the two ideas I'm playing with right now. So, what do you folks think? What would you like to see next? Or does somebody else
Well,
have
that sounds
something else?
great. No, that sounds great. That sounds really interesting. And that this tonight that's a really super useful tool that you showed us. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Good. Well, I'm really glad to share all that. I think
Yeah,
that all of us use these things in our own way. By the way, Karen, let's just book you for it's going to be
sure.
April, hold on one second, April 6th, which is the day after Easter. So please be thoughtful and don't drink too much eggnog.
Okay.
We'll do it Easter time. All
So
right.
I will have to watch the recording of that one. I have been
Oh,
asked to teach a class on Monday nights during March and April. And
oh.
I never teach on Monday nights, but this one place, that's the night they teach. So I've just said yes to that. But I'll watch the recording for sure and look
Cool.
forward to seeing you all after that is
And
complete.
before everyone drops, we'll miss you so much, Jane, but we'll know you're watching it later. But please consider presenting if you have something, if you have an interesting way to do research or how you outline or how you give feedback, how do you find artists? I don't know.
Your
Please
experience with
consider
self-publishing.
anything. We want to hear from you. Karen, Jane, and I are struggling to always come up with topics for this. So please email all of us or somebody. Here's my email. And also I just sent out the newsletter yesterday and that does a call for talks. So please consider, we want you to speak to us. And with that, everyone have a great month. See you next time. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.